Welcome to Things You Didn't Know. I'm your host, Sean Kling.
And I'm Stan Hitchens. And today we're at the Philadelphia Lazaretto in Tinicum Township, Pennsylvania.
For your information, a Lazaretto is a place for maritime travelers and immigrants to stop and check into the country that they're coming into. It helps prevent plagues and diseases from getting into the country. Now, Lazarettos have been around since ancient times.
The Philadelphia Lazaretto is the oldest of its type still standing in the United States today. It was built in 1799 in response to the Great Philadelphia Yellow Fever epidemic of 1793. Prior to 1798, Philadelphia did have a Lazaretto. It was located much closer to Philadelphia, up on the Schuylkill River, near Penrose, the current Penrose Avenue. But after the Great Philadelphia Yellow Fever epidemic that killed 10% of the nation's capital's population, about 5,000 people at the time, the local authorities decided it would be best to have a Lazaretto located a little further away from the city, about 6 miles downriver, here, where we are today, in Tinicum Township.
In 1798, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania developed a public health service. Now, this public health service was in charge of collecting taxes and dealing with public health issues. Now, the Commonwealth sold the old Lazaretto, known as the Pest House, in Philadelphia to help finance the project here at the new location. This new Lazaretto was state-of-the-art. It had an administrative building, a hospital, a guard shack, and a residence. Now, ships coming up the Delaware River to the port of Philadelphia, they had to stop here. They had to be inspected for immigrants and for cargo, to make sure that there was no disease or plague going to go into the city. If a disease or plague was caught in one of these things, they were held here under quarantine until either the disease or plague went away or it didn't and it was sent back. Between the years 1802 and 1898, so basically from the administration of Thomas Jefferson all the way to William McKinley, every immigrant that wanted to come to Pennsylvania or Philadelphia had to land here, including a very small batch of Irish workers who came through, got inspected, and wound up on a construction site on the main line called Duffy's Cut.
As a matter of fact, that group of Irish immigrants later lost their lives at the hands of local inhabitants who feared they were carrying cholera. On a lighter note, the patriarch of my family landed here in 1852, eventually making his way to the port of Philadelphia and landing in Philadelphia on, of all dates, July 4th.
Some say that the Lazaretto here is the precursor to Ellis Island. Millions of Americans came through these gates and wound up going west, north, and south in pursuit of the American dream.
It's estimated that 1 out of every 3 living Americans today can trace their ancestry back to someone who passed through this Philadelphia Lazaretto. And here it sits, quietly in Tinicum Township, Pennsylvania, a monument to where we've been, how far we've come, and where we're going. I'm Stanley Hitchens.
And I'm Sean Kling, and you've been watching Things You Didn't Know.
But then I was looking at him, kind of weird. Starry-eyed.
It's wind.
I was looking at him very starry-eyed and romantic. So you see the candle flickering in the background? I have the champagne cooling behind the winch.